Hi, my name is Mazana Samwayo, and this is my project. It's called Get Away From Me. It's a visual representation of how I feel when I'm anxious versus when I'm calm. Cue the field the character stood on, which is like serene, but more on that later. It's made in Unreal Engine. I used a distance sensor to interface between the Arduino and the software. Um, Here's the circuit. It's simply just a ultrasonic distance sensor plugged into plugged straight into the Arduino. Nothing too fancy. Um, Here's the code. The code's a hybrid of a distance sensor to serial monitor program that someone made that multiplies the time it takes for the echo to return from the sensor by the speed of sound, and that gives a reading of distance in centimeters. And the other part is the Arduino code keyboard library. Basically makes a keyboard emulator, so you can push different keys on a keyboard depending on whatever input you want. The distance it works by the distance sensor taking a read. If it's less than 1.7 meters, 170 centimeters, it'll press P, and that'll cause the scared animation, which you'll see. And after a short delay that prevents false reads that you can get from these distance sensors, sometimes it'll just randomly give the maximum, which caused a problem, which I'll talk about in a minute. It'll take another read, and if that is more than 170 centimeters, it'll push Q, and that'll return it to the idle state. These P and Q are the buttons the bindings that I chose to interact within Unreal Engine. That'll return it to the idle state. Here's the Unreal code, like the most of it. I don't know if you care, but it's just a Boolean. Has P been pushed? Yes. Scared. Has Q been pushed? Yes. Then return to idle. It's nothing too fancy. Here it is working. It's a 3D scan of me, combined with Mixamo animations from Adobe Mixamo. I was inspired by my my lack of ability to communicate my feelings effectively, and I also thought it would be funny to have like a 3D model of me cowering. Just thought it'd be funny. Some problems I had is that I've never used Unreal Engine before this project, so I have a bit of 3D experience, but it turned out to be completely different. So that was really difficult. It was a lot of like trying to figure out the script inside from scratch. It's not typed code; it's visual code, so it's not too daunting, obviously. But that was there was a lot of watching YouTube videos of people with no charisma talking about something. It was talking about Unreal Engine. It was very long, but I think it was worth it because I'm quite proud with the result. My initial plan was to have the Arduino control the mouse, like the mouse X coordinate instead, and that would have pushed my character back into a corner, so they'd have like a completely inverse. The viewer and the character on the screen would have a completely like inverse relationship, but these distance sensors just aren't accurate enough. They don't provide enough. The reads aren't accurate enough. Sometimes it'll just give like a reading of like 100 meters, and that would have had the character like teleporting back and forth. Not at all good. So I decided to just keep it to a Boolean, just true or false. Is someone there? Are they not there? 2 animations. I wanted to have 3, including one where they walk, but it just proved too difficult, so I just kept it as 2. I don't have any old prototypes I had some old ideas, but they're irrelevant. But I decided to wait until I had something measurable, rather than just starting on something, because I know I would have just driven myself insane just trying to do it. Like my initial idea was to have like an accelerometer strapped to a disc and then have that wirelessly communicate with the Arduino, and that would have spilt something in Unreal Engine, but just unmeasurable. And I'm happy that I did do it in the way that I did, because it's a good way for me to work. In conclusion, if I was to do it again, I want to make the animation more intense for when it's the scared one, because the serene when the grass is blowing is quite nice, but I'd want it to like the wind to pick up and I'd want there to be like rain, and I just want it to be a whole lot thing, like a whole lot more. Like I don't know. I'd want it to be a lot more stressful, but I couldn't do it in the time I had because I've just learned Unreal Engine. I'm gonna keep iterating, I think, so I can have a final piece at some point. I'd also like to explore different methods of interaction with the character and the observer. For example, something that feels more intentional rather than it just being like being stood somewhere, like touching something and getting a reaction, or like maybe shouting at it and then getting a reaction, or maybe even something positive rather than just giving my 3D scan more trauma. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Here it is again. Thank you very much.